Fall Guys has finally released the details of their Fall Forever update, also known as the 10.9 update, which I know we've been waiting for forever. They've got this beautiful trailer that we're going to be breaking down frame by frame, segment by segment, and also I have a little bit of additional information that's not in the trailer to go over, so without further ado, let's get into it.
The release of Fall Forever includes a whole new way to jump into Fall Guys, and we're calling this Explore. Explore is a more chilled out way to enjoy the game, and you'll have an endless collection of new creative content to try out.
So as you've heard, they're adding what they are calling this Explore mode, which is basically taking Discovery to the next level. You and 9 other beans, making it a total of 10, will load into kind of a custom game where you're going to be afforded the opportunity to try out so many different creative maps without actually having to back out. You're going to see a little bit later that there's a couple of different ways that you can end your session, but this is meant to be a very chill way to explore all the maps without having to constantly back out. And from going one map to the end, you can play it with your friends, you can play it by yourself, and you will be able to unlock some XP. So I think this is a great way to show off all the great maps and avoid that frustration of not being able to just back out and get your rewards or having to back out to go to the next map. And so without further ado, let's go to the next segment of the trailer.
Also, we know there's nothing more frustrating than being moments away from completing a course when suddenly you get hit by an elimination. Well, in Explore, there's no need to worry. Time limits have been extended to 30 minutes, so you can take your time, hang out with your friends, and just have fun.
Well, for selfish reasons, extending the time limit to 30 minutes is going to open up so many possibilities. First and foremost, hosting competitions where we don't have to back out and then reload a lobby. That's just going to make it a lot better. But even for you guys, if you have a really hard map that you've just never been able to beat, that's one use case. But I think the biggest thing is just going to be being in a lobby and hanging out with your friends and really trying to practice a game on some of the coolest maps that have been added to this Explore mode. I think this is going to be great for new players. And as I said, the great news is that if you win, you don't have to wait the 30 minutes. You just move on to the next one. And as you're going to see in a second, if you're getting bored of a map, I'll show you exactly what will happen if that's the case.
And for all those speedy beans who want to keep the party going, as soon as you've crossed the finish line, you'll be able to start another level. That means no more waiting for everyone else to finish. You'll be pulled into a level with other players who are ready to start.
This is exactly what I mentioned. This is a really cool addition that the second you beat a map, you're not just taken back to the main screen like you would in the Discovery tab. You're instantly put into a new map with 9 other beans, so the fun has a chance to always continue.
And if you find yourself in a level that's too difficult, or maybe you're just not feeling it, you can simply skip it and move right on to the next one. Explore is designed to make sure you're constantly experiencing the content you want to play.
Now, this is such a great feature that I honestly wish they would bring this to customs. The ability to skip a level if you're just not feeling it. If you see the level and you're just like, nah, I don't know why somebody submitted this, guys. So being able to skip would be great. This is obviously a little bit different because you pretty much just get spawned into a level and then you have to decide whether or not you're enjoying it or not. Otherwise, you're sitting there for 30 minutes. The great news is if you're not enjoying it, as you saw, you just click that skip button and you're flying all the way to the next map. Oh my days, what a beautiful feature.
When you're finished, all you need to do is leave the game and you'll collect rewards for every level you completed. It's that simple.
Now, this has got to be the smartest thing they've ever added. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes there's just people that like to troll. They just stand at the finish line. I don't know what they're doing. Just qualify already. Now it doesn't matter. I qualify. Bye-bye, bozo. Sit at the finish line. Do whatever you want. You're donezo.
Alongside Explore, we've also made a number of tweaks throughout the game. You'll now be able to communicate with other players via the phrase and emoji wheel, whether it's saying hello to a friend or asking for help during a particularly fiendish level.
Now, this feature may not seem like a lot, but I think it actually really does help with the community feeling of the game. Before, you would just join into a Discover map or into customs, and you wouldn't really feel connected to the other people. This gives you a small opportunity to wave hello, look like that, say that you need some help, and just really connect with the entire community. So I think they did a really good job at actually bringing that in, kind of like almost like I don't want to say it, but a Roblox game where it's more open world, and they've added that feel to it, which I think is going to go a long ways to really build the community.
And while we're on the subject of helping your fellow beans, the new piggybacking ability means you can assist another player at any point by letting them hop on your back. Now that's teamwork.
Now this has got to be the most viral feature that they've added. I could only imagine the possibilities that are going to come as a result of this feature, whether it's carrying the worst players of all time, Burst Blue, or just having a little bit of fun with your friends. This feature is just going to be so much fun to play with. I really want to know how it works, because obviously it seems like somebody needs to make the request to be picked up, but then some people are asking, yo, what if you're holding a ball? Or how would it work if you're playing like a hoop shoot type of game where you go through the hoop? Do they get the points? Can you just carry somebody the entire way and basically not even need a second player to be playing? You just grab another controller, you press the button, you grab them. Maybe that's a video idea, I don't know, but either way, it's going to be a ton of fun, so look forward to that.
You can also now add even more versatility to your creative levels. Control objects allow you to set any object to rotate, adding dynamic movement to your creations.
And finally, for all of my creative friends out there that just love to build maps, this feature is honestly so cool and something that's been so needed in the game for so long. We finally understand what that objects physics tool is, and it allows us to rotate pieces. Now, I have a little bit of insider information that I can share with you today, and basically, I think when this tool first comes out, it's going to be awesome to see what people can create with these tornado-like kind of movements. But the issue is, you can see even on the screen that the rotation controller there had a budget of 180. I do know that this piece is going to behave similar to an item spawner, where there's a cost to spawn it, and there's also an additional cost for however many items you add. So with the item spawner, if you added 1 item, 2 items, 3 items, it would increase in cost. In this one, depending on how many obstacles you have connected to your controller, that's also going to increase the cost. Obviously, because we still only have 2,000 budget, if these object controllers are going to cost like 200 budget just to place one down in total, it might not be worthwhile. However, I know that they're working on improving it and that it's going to get better and better over time. So this is just like the first taste of it, and I'm really excited to see what you guys are able to create and try it out for myself. So I think this is such an awesome addition with the addition of the object physics tool and the controller.
So there you have it. Fall Forever brings you the brand new Explore mode and so much more. See you in the Blunderdome.
Now that we've gone through the trailer, I wanted to walk you through their blog post where they added a lot of really important information for whatever reason they didn't want to include in the trailer. So let's get to it. All right, so first up, we've got this new mode Explore, which we already talked about in the trailer, where you load in with 9 other beings. You can play all the different creative maps. If you don't like the level, you can skip to the next one, but you can keep going for as long as you want. You don't have to wait for others. You can simply skip the map. Once you end it, you go to the next one, and if you're not enjoying it, you just skip it. As I said, it's got 10 players. This is designed to be less stressful because there's 30 minutes, and you can still earn rewards and explore the levels. So we already know that we're getting those rotation controllers, but we're actually getting some more stickers with this update, which is a nice little addition that we can use to design and decorate our maps a little bit longer. Now, creative levels themselves will actually be able to be up to 30 minutes as well, so hosting competitions or doing something that requires people to stay in the same lobby will be a lot easier now when hosting customs. This one, a lot of people are going to like if you're a map builder. Invisible checkpoints no longer are the days where you need to make such a beautiful map ugly by having to throw in those disgusting looking checkpoints. They're now invisible. I'm sure they're going to work in a similar way to as they do right now, but you'll probably have a visibility setting on them. Now, this one's really cool as well. The jungle background is coming to creative mode, so if you guys want to create some awesome jungle themed levels, you'll have a skybox to select that is the jungle theme. So I'm looking forward to what people come up with that. Now, as I mentioned a little bit in the video, we have these rotation controllers, but they're going to be pretty limited at first in terms of budget. I would assume that they're probably going to be somewhere along the lines of like 30 to 50 budget just to place the tool, similar to the item spawner. I think the item spawner is 40, so I wouldn't be surprised if they made it 40. And then my guess would be that whatever the value of the obstacle you're adding would probably be added as well, but there might just be a defined value for the type of object that you're adding to the, almost like a gravitational pull, if you will. Finally, creative objects maximum. Now, I wish this meant an increase to the total budget, but this is just an increase to the number of individual obstacles you can place. So there was a limit on some of the obstacles, such as the slime floors, the spinning plates, etc. Now, I believe the way that I understand it is you pretty much can have as many as you can fit on your map up to 2,000 budget. So you should not be limited, and that will open up a lot of cool slime maps as well. Now, this is probably the most important thing that they did not talk about in the trailer that I just wanted to get into. Beans made better. Now, they've made a lot of changes to the way that the beans behave in some of their physics. First and foremost, Fall Guys, Ragdoll, and Recovery changes. You will still ragdoll quite a bit. However, you'll notice a reduction, they've said, in the moments where you do ragdoll when you shouldn't. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when you have too much speed, you'll land on your feet thinking you won't ragdoll, but you will. It sounds like they've removed that. Actually, they literally said that right here, when you're going fast, land on your feet, and then find yourself rolling on the floor. They've also made it a lot faster for you to get up, so you're not going to spend so much time on the ground, kind of like Mr. Birthway would. You know what I'm saying? Your jump height and acceleration have also been adjusted, meaning all jumps will now have more leniency and you'll reach tops running speed faster. This will be really cool. You're going to be able to jump higher and you'll be able to move quicker. Along with the increased jump height, you'll have some more mid-air control. So when you're in the air, especially if you're falling from a big height, you'll be able to maneuver your beam just a little bit more than you would in the past. Finally, if you're newer to the game, as you're landing, you'll see an actual landing target UI on the screen that will help you understand where your beam is going to land so that you can course correct in the middle of the air. Now, one thing that they've asked us to do is obviously with these changes, you're going to have to check your creative levels. Now, I think there's going to be mixed reaction on this one. People saying that they spent so much time perfecting their levels only for it to get ruined. And I know people have voiced their frustration from previous updates, but at the end of the day, they felt that this was the most important thing that they needed to add to make the game better as a whole. So if it's a little bit of a short-term pain for long-term game, I think it's worth it in the long time. Just note that you might see players making jumps they couldn't before, launchers not yeeting people as far, and then also they have made some tweaks to the obstacles, such as the padded walls. They might have just made them longer so that beans can't try to get outside the barriers of the level. So just maybe for the maps that you really think that are your biggest bangers, I would definitely go have them play tested once the update comes out, just to make sure that you're adjusting accordingly to the changes. So finally, onto the main show update and changes. Solos is no longer solos. It's moving to the name Knockout. This one is only going to be 32 players, 3 rounds, and will have a round pool of 40 levels from both Mediatonic and creators. Now, I know this is going to make a lot of map makers happy because they are going to be putting more of our maps in the game. I do know for a fact, I'm sure they're going to be play testing them really hard to make sure that the best maps are getting into the game and still fitting with a Unity type of feel that you would want and expect from Fall Guys. By the way, you should note that the Unity maps are not going anywhere. There's still going to be Unity maps in these round pools, so please don't worry about the nostalgic aspect of the game. They will still be there, and any of the knockout rounds will also be available in customs. As I said, it'll be 32 players in 3 rounds, which I know some people are going to complain about, but in my opinion, I think sometimes it's a little bit too long when you have like 5 or 6 rounds. I think this is a great way to test people's skill and make sure that people aren't getting disinterested halfway through the game. Don't worry, knockout refreshing is not the same as vaulting because they're going to ensure that all of the refreshes bring back some old classics that people love alongside some new creative maps, which I know people are going to be really excited about to get their maps featured, and it's just going to be an awesome thing that you can brag about to your friends and you can take great pride in. And then finally, this is coming out on May 7th, and the Fame Pass will be out from May 7th to June 4th, but the actual update is coming out in a week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been my in-depth breakdown of the details that we've gotten. Once the update comes out, you already know I'm going to be making a video going through the update, my initial feel on it, whether or not I think some of the changes they made are for the best, and just going through it in the actual game itself. Without further ado, I would usually say be kind of another, but that's Ellen's thinking Ellen got canceled, and I'm not trying to get canceled, so I'm going to leave you with one thing and one thing only. Don't be a bean. Peace.